Hey guys, it's Jeselle here, and you have tuned into another episode of Minds Radio. This is the program where we get a chance to speak to the authors who put the magic on the page that we get to read and enjoy so that we can stay motivated, stay inspired, and just get prepared for the adventures that life throws at us each and every day. Today's show, we have author Christie Mawer. Christie is not only an author, she's also a coach, and she does workshops. And what really fascinates me is that the fact that she is a pole dancing instructor. Okay, and as we were speaking before the show, she says to me that she has pole and will travel. We'll get to that later in the show. But gosh, we really are here to talk about the book. And the book that she has written is called The Bad Kitty Handbook, A Journey Toward Authentic Female Sensuality. I mean, the title speaks for itself, but, you know, only she knows why she created this book. So, Christie, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And can you just tell us, like, how did this book come about? Like, what is the Bad Kitty Handbook? What is it?
Well, it's basically my story. So it starts off by saying, once upon a time I was a little girl, but I was never very little. And it talks about how, despite the fact that I was very tall all my life, I was also extremely good at being invisible. And I could walk into a room as a grown-up at 6 feet tall and completely be missed. I was so good at playing small. And so it's my journey from that state to really understanding who I was, what I wanted in my life, and how to get it. And all the way through the book, I have what I call Bad Kitty scratching posts, which are activities for usually the woman who's reading it to do along with me and go on her own journey of self-discovery at the same time.
Wow, that's fascinating. So you have completely taken a kitty cat, a baby kitty cat, a.k.a. a little girl, and, you know, created scratching posts so that they can go and kind of let it out. Would that be correct?
Exactly, yes.
Exactly. That's why I knew this was going to be fun. Some things that men don't understand, and I think that this may be one of them. And for the men that are listening, you know, I hope that there is some value in this for you. And if there's not, then either go and ask your wife or your girlfriend or your little girl. Right?
Well, what I tell men when they're interested in the book is I've actually had a few men read it who have been extremely grateful for the information and what they learned, and they actually have been able to apply a lot of it to their own lives. But if they're buying it for a woman in their life, I ask them to give it to her with both hands extended, look her in the eye, and say, "You are the most beautiful woman in the world,
yes,
and I want you to realize it too."
Yes. Now, why is that message so important? Like, what happened in your life that, you know, made you realize that that is what needs to happen first in order for anything to really change, open up, or, you know, get in touch with your sensuality?
Well, as I was on my journey, I started to look around and noticed how hard women are on themselves. We're our own worst critic. We are always tearing ourselves down, and we never really see, we're more prone to see the gifts in others rather than the gifts in ourselves. And we spend all of our time making sure everyone else is happy.
Yes.
So I wanted to give women the opportunity to see that they are amazing and beautiful just as they are, and that there's no reason for the criticisms, no reason to try to change and fit into someone else's skewed idea of what they should be, and just be themselves.
Absolutely, and that's just such a great message. And, you know, if there's anything that you guys do take away from this interview, take away that, is that, you know, it's not easy being a woman, and we do a lot for other people, but we also have to make sure that we take care of ourselves, because at the end of the day, if you don't love yourself first, you really don't have any love to give. You know, if you don't have any food to give, you know, if you don't do anything for yourself first, you really don't have anything to give. So we, as women, yes, we must keep our cups full. We must always be overflowing so that we can do what we were put on earth here to do, and we do it so well, because look at how much pressure we're under all the time.
Exactly.
Yes. So let's talk about these scratching posts. Like, can you give an example? Like, take me through an exercise that you feel someone can try at home.
Well, one of the ones that I find, well, I'll give you two. Sure. I always find that in order to really discover what it is that you want out of life, it's really important to create selfish goals. And what I mean by that is a goal that has nothing to do with anybody else.
Yeah.
Because usually when we, especially women, set our goals, it's like, I want my children to be happy. I want my husband to have a successful business. I want my parents to have good health, et cetera, et cetera. And we forget that we've got to be part of the equation too. So a selfish goal is a goal that is completely for you. It can be something that you do on a regular basis to keep your cup full. It can be something long-term, but write 50 of those down. Yeah. And they have to have no parameters around anyone else. Like, go to Paris with my husband. Well, what if your husband doesn't want to go to Paris?
Yeah. Can you still go to Paris? And
you can still go.
Awesome
he doesn't have to come with you. So that's one of the ones that I find really powerful, because a lot of times when women start to really think about that, all of these things come up that they've been ignoring or even forgot about, and it can be a very emotional experience. And then going for it is very exciting. The second thing that second favorite exercise of mine is accept compliments graciously. Because we tend to, oh, this old thing, oh, really, my hair looks terrible today. And just getting in the habit of just saying a sincere thank you is so powerful, because you start to see how other people see you and that they see beauty in you, even though you're busy tearing yourself down. And I used to teach a 6-week class, and one of the weeks I would give the women stickers. And this was the week we talked about accepting compliments graciously. And I said, every time you get a compliment and you accept it with just a thank you, put this sticker somewhere to remind you. So one of the girls decided to put it around her mirror. And at the end of the 6-week class, I was asking what some of the most powerful lessons they received during the class was, and she said that she decided to put her stickers on her mirror and made a frame around her mirror with the stickers. And she said now every time she looks in the mirror, instead of picking out the zits or the problems with her face or her body that she's been looking at all her life, all she sees is how beautiful she is, because she has a reminder of all those compliments around her mirror.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. This is really great information that can impact women around the world. I know it's quite normal for us to have a pretty, scheduled day book. I don't know. I use a book to make my plans. Some people use internet or whatever. And just as you said, we put other people in the equation. Like, if you were to have an appointment with yourself to do something, the chances are you will not show up for that, but you will be there when somebody else is involved.
Yes. Or you'll something else will come up, and I can have my pedicure next week.
Exactly.
You get my haircut tomorrow, and then 3 months down the road you realize you haven't even done it yet.
Yeah. So let's talk about a journey towards authentic female sensuality. Sensuality is such a powerful word, and I think that, this is why I'm really excited to get to talk to you about the pole dancing, because pole dancing in itself is sexy, but it's not sexy of sex and what we perceive sex to be. It's sexy in the sense that you can become sensual and really connect to the divine sexy in you. So what exactly is the difference between sensuality and sexuality? Can you clarify that?
Absolutely. So we have gotten in the habit of using them interchangeably, so it can be very confusing for people. The key word in sensuality is sense. So it's about your senses. Your see, hear, feel, taste, and I've forgotten smell.
And touch.
And yes, feel, touch, yeah.
Oh, that's
so. what we do, because we are so busy in our lives, is we tend to skate over our senses. We eat without tasting. We smell fresh bread, but it barely even registers. And so sensuality is really about just being in the moment, about being aware, about having emotions, about having reactions to things. Because the way we respond to our senses is a reflection of who we are. One person may love the smell of bread. Another person may hate it. I don't know anybody who does. But we all have our own responses, our own vision around things, that if we are constantly running so fast that we're barely even touching the ground, we can't experience those things. So sensuality is just breathing, being in the moment, and really feeling instead of disconnecting from ourselves and our environment. Whereas sexuality is basically two people bumping uglies, and that's it. So you can be sensual when there's no sex, and you can have sex without any sensuality, but why would you bother? Because it would be really dull.
Yes, it really... Right. No, I mean, that's it. It just gets you off.
Yeah.
So, that's when it comes to being present, that's where we as humans are missing it because of the fact that we're so busy. We don't take time to go outside and see what's around us anymore. We don't really take time to just observe. There's, I think this is just a great time to bring up Marianne Williamson because she's, running for office in California right now, and I think that this is groundbreaking history for America. I think that, all history has been paving the way for where we're at, but what's going on right now with her is really paving the way for what's going to happen many years down the line. And one of the things that she talks about as far as like getting into presence and really being in the moment and having faith, because I think that that's important as well, to just trust that something is guiding you. She says, say to yourself, where am I going? What am I saying? What am I doing? No, where am I going and to whom? And just breathe. And I have found that when I use that, it's like all of the pressure of the world just kind of comes off because I know that I have asked for guidance, and it allows me to be aware. So how would you suggest people to heighten their senses?
Well, I actually have 2 ebooks that are both about sensuality, and they're really basic tips that sometimes just seem so easy. It's like, how could this even possibly help me? Like, eat your meal at a table without the TV on.
Okay, so that's one. So there's one. Eat your meal at. Let's break these tips down for people. Let us take our time so that they get this. So the first tip would be to eat your meal at a table without the TV on.
Right.
Love
so
it.
Be really present with your food, right? And then there's ones that are more challenging, like go commando for a day. And how does that change the way that you feel about yourself, the way you respond to people, the way you hold yourself? It'll be a new experience. So
absolutely. How about going commando for a day with a skirt on and really feel the breeze? Like,
exactly.
Step out your comfort zone.
Careful when you get out of the car.
Yeah, or wear a long skirt. What else? What's the next one?
Well, let's see. Spend a day with children.
Yes.
Because no one is more sensual than a child. I remember my niece is now 8. When she was 3, she went to Chuck E. Cheese. And my brother-in-law sent me a video of her on the stage with all the animatronic animals. And she was dancing to the music. And then all of a sudden she started to do these really big hip circles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is one of the things I teach women to do when we're dancing. And I'm like, I swear, I didn't teach her how to do that. But it's just a thing that is natural. that we stop ourselves from doing as we get older because we're told it's bad, it's wrong, you're giving off the wrong message. And so spending a day with kids will really help you remember what it means to just be in your body, to be sensual, to be present.
Yes. That's a funny thing that you're sharing, because I remember one time I was watching some kids playing, and, it was a very small child, and the way she was just kind of like bouncing, me in my mind, sometimes my mind is not filtered. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, when she gets older, she's going to be good.
Yeah. And we're such funny creatures because we put so many layers on things that just are not necessary.
Yes.
Like, for example, with the pole dancing, I have set my pole up in people's houses that have kids. And the mothers are all sitting there going, oh my God, I can't possibly do this. This is inappropriate. And the kids are like, new toy! And they're climbing all over it and they're having free time.
Yes. Wow. So let's talk about the pole dancing. How did you get involved in pole dancing?
Well, it was really by fluke. I had just gotten out of a relationship that had ended abruptly and badly. And I was living in my sister's basement feeling sorry for myself. Mm-hmm. And as I was going on dating websites, trying to find love in all the wrong places, I heard a documentary about pole dancing parties. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning, they interviewed the women, and at the end. And before the party, they were, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, my God, I don't know if my body will move this way. I'm 40 years old. This is ridiculous. And at the end, they were, I had such a good time. And I went, I have to find out a way to get involved in this. So I joined a company that was doing parties similar to like Tupperware or Party Light, just going into people's homes. And really loved it and discovered that I had this innate ability to make people feel really comfortable around something that made them uncomfortable to even be there. Yes. And I just kept doing it for several years and then branched out on my own and continued to do it in conjunction with my workshops and so on, because it's such an amazing transformation that I saw in the women. And they come in, a little bit frightened, unsure, wondering how they got talked into this. And then at the end, they're just feeling so free and easy and loving the whole experience, just because it's something that's taboo that they've discovered is actually really fun. Yeah. And they get into their body and they encourage each other, and it's just a really fun, enlightening experience.
Absolutely. And how does, I've been doing some yoga, and I know that I went into yoga saying, I hate this, and I'm absolutely horrible at yoga. But I see that every single class is a new chance to get it right. Mm-hmm. Every class is a new chance to get it right. So with pole dancing, pole dancing, is it that your strength builds over time? Like, how would you encourage one to practice pole dancing?
Well, there's lots of opportunities to go further. What I teach is just the basics, mm-hmm. just to get you moving, to get you into your body, to get you out of your head and out of your comfort zone.
Get you to know the pole and how to use it.
Yeah, and to know that you can use it. And then if you want to go further, there's always studios and places that you can go. The difference with me versus places like that is I'm just about, let's just play. Let's just have a good time, discover what you can do, what your limits are, and where you can push yourself out of your brain and your body. Whereas studio classes are more like, let's do this right. Let's become a dancer. And, if that's someone's goal, then absolutely there are opportunities to do that. But with me, it's just basically it's a one-off. You come out, you play, and feel great about yourself when you leave.
Wow. So where would one buy a pole? I mean, you said that you have a pole and you will travel. So where does someone get a pole from? Who knew?
Well, if you go onto my website, thebadkitty.com, there is a link
Okay, fantastic.
to the source that I use for mine, which is Little Mink's Dance Poles.
Okay, and the pole is sturdy. It stays still.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone has either heard or seen of videos on YouTube where people have fallen on their home pole. That's just because they haven't installed it correctly.
Okay.
When it's installed correctly, it'll hold up to 300 pounds.
Okay. Wow. Oh my gosh, I need a pole.
Yeah.
So, knowing what you know now, if you had your little kitty self, your little girl, what would you let her know?
That it's okay to be you. You don't have to worry about the expectations of others. You don't have to worry about fitting in. The most exciting thing about being human is being yourself.
Yeah.
Is always worrying about what everyone else is thinking is crazy making.
Yes.
And chances are they're not thinking about you anyway because they're too wrapped up in worrying about what you're thinking about them.
Absolutely. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and it's like, they're listening and you think that they're listening, but they're really not hearing you?
Yeah.
That's the way the world is. And, I really think that that's beautiful for you to share that. So all of the women out there know to encourage your little ones to let them know to be them. And what's beautiful about being yourself is that you're also going to be a little bit different, and that is too okay.
Yeah, and everybody's a little bit weird, so it's okay.
Yes.
When I created the name of the Bad Kitty, I created an acronym for it. So it actually stands for Beautiful, Authentic, Divine, Completely Individual, Totally True You. Yes, you are a bad kitty too.
Oh, shoot, I'm a bad kitty.
Shout it out.
I'm a bad kitty. Who's a bad kitty? You're a bad kitty. Wow. So, guys, we've been talking to Christie Mawer, and she is the author of the Bad Kitty Handbook, A Journey Toward Authentic Female Sensuality. And in my eyes, even bigger than an author, she is a pole dance instructor. So you can learn more about Christie and her book, thebadkitty.com. I encourage all of you to pick up this book. You can get it at barnesandnobles.com. You can get it at amazon.com. If you ever would like a lesson from Christie, you can go to Alberta, or she's willing to travel. She's got a pole. You never know where she'll come to. So what last words do you have to say to our listeners?
Well, just around the dancing, I can do Skype. I will often do lessons over Skype. So just so you know.
You are.
So my final word is be beautiful, be you. Because you are beautiful just the way you are, and we want to see it. The world wants to see it. You being yourself will make a difference. Throw your pebble into the ocean and make your ripples be seen.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What more can you say after that? Christie, it's been a pleasure. It's actually been a divine opportunity to speak to you and just get filled up with knowing that there is other women out there that know how important it is to be them from the beginning. And for some of us, it takes us a while to figure that out, but for some of those that get the encouragement from a young age, that's what makes stars. And I'm so glad to have you on today. So you've been listening to Christie Mawer, the author of the Bad Kitty Handbook, A Journey Toward Authentic Female Sensuality. And Christie, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I had a blast.
Awesome. Me too. We'll see you guys next time. It's been Motivational Minds Radio, and I'm your host, Jeselle, and we will chat next time. Take care.